So for those of you who know games, unfortunately I don't have this version. I became aware that when I saw on the internet some hubbub about people complaining that a software patch was released for this game by the Japanese creators to cause what they considered a glitch. And that glitch being that this game, which is kind of a life sim game where you can have characters, you can create them, and they can do, living things, get married. This game in the glitched version allowed gay characters, whereas the software patch suddenly stopped that. And there was a lot of, uproar, I guess is the civil term about that. And the official stance from Nintendo, which is the owner of the game, and ironically, this is the first time that the Tomodachi Life or the Tomodachi product has been released outside of Japan. They maintain that there was no plans and they will not support a gay version of the current edition, which is interesting because right after that, some other games and other gay manufacturers are kind of like realizing, there's some marketing opportunities for this. And I think we started talking about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because they said, we put out this patch to stop these same-sex encounters, and then there was all this uproar, and they're like, well, we couldn't change it now because it's so much harder to add gay stuff into a game. You can't do it with a patch. You have to take stuff away. So that's our explanation for now. But and we were just talking about, because there's a Star Wars game that allows you to have same-sex romance, but only on one planet. So we call it Planet Gay Bar. And then, and Atari just announced that they're going to have, they're releasing a new one called Pride Fest, which allows you to create little Pride Festival parades in
It's like, sort of like Railroad Tycoon, except with a Pride Festival.
Yeah, so it's like you've got Planet Gay Bar with Star Wars and Pride Fest with this one. But you know what seems to be lost is Mass Effect allowed you to pick same-sex.
It did after, I think it might have allowed you to pick same-sex female companion in the first game. First and second. Third was the first gun? Okay. I couldn't remember.
So clearly I just grabbed out the first two.
Actually, it's interesting because EA has been doing this has been inclusive technically for 14 years when they first started with The Sims, and what their excuse was at the time is that it was too much work to stop same-sex couplings in the game. So they just made it so that you really could play your character however you wanted.
That's really how we've gotten marriage equality. You just can't stop us. It's too much work.
But since then, they've really kind of upped their game significantly with each, I think, passing year. And Mass Effect 3 was the first game that I can remember in which you had two scripted characters who were exclusively gay and exclusively lesbian. They were not playable companions in that game, but you had them on the ship. And if you went and talked to them, you got this backstory about, in the guy's case, he lost his husband in an attack on their home planet, which was really affecting and moving. And I was like, I hope all the straight guys are taking the time to listen to this. I hope they feel something for this character. And now with Dragon Age Inquisition, which I'm super excited about, you're going to have multiple options, regardless of what gender you prefer, but you also have a lesbian and a gay male playable companion, which is another step further.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the flack EA gets about being the worst company in America, and they do get a lot of flack, and usually it's related to consumer issues, they have been really good on this stuff for a long time. And they have been out in front of things in a way that no other company really has. And they deserve, I think, some credit for that. Because for a long time they were kind of the outliers. And now you have a lot more companies like, Naughty Dog's adding stuff to like Last of Us, and then you have, I think now gay marriage is, you can have that in Final Fantasy online.
It was just that.
Skyrim, yep, I married a werewolf in Skyrim. Oh, and Fables too, yeah, or Fable on Xbox. So, and notice these are a lot of American developers also that we're talking about, and I think we're kind of seeing that. I think that's going to change. I think the Nintendo incident was really important because they got so much public flack that they needed to get, and they needed to have that be public, and other companies needed to see them getting that flack in the same way that I think Ubisoft is getting public flack for not having the option to play as a female in the upcoming Assassin's Creed game. And I think it's really good when these things play out in a public forum because they pay attention going to learn from these mistakes, and which hopefully means things will continue to improve.
But part of the reason why that evolution was able to take place, BioWare is the publisher of the Mass Effect, the Dragon Age, but the star power of the women writers, they're the reasons why.
And David Maynard too.
And David, yeah, I can't remember him. But they're the